Hello everyone, my name is Sharmee Divan and today I'll be talking about Bach Flower Therapy. It's one of the subjects that I'm very passionate about. The other thing I'm very passionate about is angel therapy, but this is my second love, I can say. And Bach Flower Remedies came to me at a time where I also needed them the most. I was dealing with depression myself, and my friend introduced me to Bach Flower Therapy about over a decade ago, maybe 12-14 years ago. And I got off the depression medication that I was taking. I only took Bach Flower Therapy at that point in time, and yes, I have never looked back ever since. I was not practicing Bach Flower Therapy until 2014. It was in 2014 I was reading this book called Flower Therapy by Dr. Aniruddha, who is my angel teacher. And there was a mention about how you could make concussions with flowers and use them as healing essences. And that made me think that, wait a minute, I know one kind of a therapy and I couldn't quite recollect the name of it. And I said, they make concussions with flowers and it is used as a healing medicine. So I quickly just cross-checked, and back then I called it Bach Flower Therapy. A lot of people will call it Bach Flower Therapy, but after being associated with the Bach Center UK, I represent them here in India. So it's me and another friend of mine who bring the Bach Flower Therapy workshops here in India. Directly from the UK Bach Center. So until then we were also calling it Bach Flower Therapy, but it is Bach Flower Therapy, and the name Bach comes from Dr. Edward Bach. He was the founder of this system. It's a system of 38 flower remedies, and Dr. Bach, as you can see, he was a physicist. He was a medical doctor who was diagnosed with cancer, and he was only given 3 months to live. He lived about a decade after that, because he was very inspired by Dr. Hahnemann's research, the father of homeopathy, and he went on to study homeopathy, and then did the nosode study. He's very famous for the nosodes, the bowel nosode study as well. And then while he was healing from the tumor, the cancerous tumor that he was diagnosed with, he started to discover that it is in nature where you can find answers to your issues. And he also truly believed that it is, if you start treating just the disease and not really the cause, if you don't treat the cause, the disease will come back. And he also truly believed that if you start to look at a person as a whole, rather than what that person is having, so rather than the disease, if you treat the person as a whole, is when you will be able to very unconditionally treat a person. So people come to me, they have all sorts of issues. It could be relationship issues, it could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be personality disorders. I have been treating clients of all types. Now, some which are more chronic cases, so they need a long-term treatment. Some that are just the daily life battles that they might be going through. Some people have a temporary depression, some people have a long-term depression, some people have bipolar depression, some people have schizophrenia. It just depends what they have. But when they are in front of me and I'm their Bach Flower therapist, I am seeing them in the moment, how they are. I'm not seeing them for what they have or what their diseases or the labels that they carry, like, oh, I am diabetic, I have a heart problem. We are always constantly talking only about our issues. We're not talking really about our feelings. And Dr. Bach believed that if you do not address what is really going on within the person, you will treat the thing temporarily, but it will not be a permanent solution. So I'm starting here with 2 quotes from him, which I felt were very interconnected. It says, health depends on being in harmony with our souls. So what Bach Flower remedies I truly believe do are that they bring you in the perfect balance of your emotions and help you be your best. It's not about me trying to be you or me trying to be you. It's me trying to be the best version of me through taking these remedies. And they are made 100% naturally, so there is no biochemical ingredient in them. So chemical free, all natural. They are made with natural methods. So one is the sun method. Dr. Bach, when he started exploring these plants, he would kind of go on a stroll in the meadows, and he just sensed the energy of the flowers. And if there was a flower that had a certain energy and it started to heal him, he would put it, he would experiment with it, and he would then see if he can use that and make that as a healing remedy. That's how the Bach Flower remedies were discovered. And the way that he did it was, at first he would just take the dewdrops that collect on the flowers, mix that with brandy, and he would make a mother tincture with it. So it's that natural. सिर्फ पानी और उसमें जो फ्लावर का तत्व बोलते हैं ना, वो तत्व रहता है उसमें. Okay, now that is one method. It is called the sun method. So it's kept what is done is that the flowers are clipped without the human hand touching them, and it's collected in a bowl of water. So the base of it is just water, pure water, and it is put under direct sunlight for 4 hours. And then that concussion is then mixed with brandy for storage, and that's how one way to make a mother tincture. And then there are other certain flowers which are used, which they use the boiling method for. One of them is olive. The other one I can't quite remember, but olive is one of those flowers that is used with the boiling method. So they boil it, and the concussion is what is used as the remedy. So it is 100% natural. Because it is 100% natural, it is non-habit forming. So you will never ever get addicted to Bach Flower remedies. Although a lot of my clients, they love taking the remedies because it makes them feel better, and they start getting better and better and better, and if they continue on with the treatment, then they are the best versions of themselves. And sometimes what happens is that a client is feeling fairly balanced, doesn't come to see me for a year, 2 years, then comes back, has a different issue, but they will usually not come back to me for the same issue over and over again, as long as they have completed the treatment. So that is what I feel is the positive aspect of Bach Flower remedies. So the second part to the quote is, the final and complete healing will come from within, from the soul itself. And I definitely think that this is like a complete understanding of the remedies, because in Bach Flower therapy, the way that we work is, when you, like, say for example, you were to come and sit in a consultation with me, the first thing that I do is I educate you. As a consultant, I educate you. As a therapist, I educate you about the remedies. What are they? What are you taking into your system? Have you ever gone to a doctor and has he ever told you the biochemical ingredients in the medicine कि इसमें ये chemical है, ये आपके दिमाग पे ऐसे से काम करेगा? Never? No? But when you come to a Bach Flower therapist, we will tell you that, okay, I'm planning to give you hornbeam, for example. Hello, Mr. Taylor. I'm planning to give you hornbeam, for example, and I will tell you what hornbeam does. Okay, it takes away your Monday morning blues. We're on a Monday, and I would love to give you all hornbeam. I'm sure some of you are feeling the Monday morning blues. So, our job as Bach Flower therapists is not just to give you, खट सिर्फ prescription नहीं लिखते हम लोग actually आपको educate करते हैं, आपको समझाते हैं कि ये combination आपके लिए क्यों काम करेगा. And still, if you don't agree to a certain remedy, we will change it for you, because we work in harmony with our clients. because there is no separation. When we do Bach Flower Therapy, we don't see the separation between us and the client. We become the client. That's the one of the qualities, I would say, of a Bach Flower therapist is empathy. And you know, if I don't step into your shoes, if I don't understand your problem in its totality, if I don't understand you in your totality, I will probably go wrong with my combination. But then the good part to that is that even if you go wrong, there are no side effects because they are all natural. Yeah. So very quickly, what I wanted to share with you all is that, so if you see here, this is the kit. This is the original kit of Bach Flower Remedies, and it is total 40 over here, but 2 of them are the rescue remedy. Now rescue remedy, if you think of the word rescue, that's exactly what this remedy is used for, and this is nothing but a combination of 5 different Bach Flower remedies put into one bottle, and I'll tell you a little story about it in just a bit. But basically these are 38 set of remedies, and you could make about a few million combinations out of them. So he started out at 9 remedies. The first kit of Bach Flower Remedies was only 9 remedies, and then he kept exploring. He reached 12, and then there were 12 remedies, and then there were 19 remedies, and then the kit was complete at 38 remedies. But there's a book called The 12 Healers, which I highly recommend you read. I believe it's available for free on the Bach Center website. If you go to www.bachcenter.com, you will see there are resources and there are free reading materials available. One of them is Heal Thyself, which was a book. It's a teeny tiny book written by Dr.Aniruddha Bach. Highly recommend you read it. And the 12 Healers. So these 2 books, if you read and you understand, it's very simple language. In fact, before Dr. Bach, you know, died and his research was completed, he saw to it that he burnt out every single piece of information that he had done research on, because he said that this set, it addresses every single human emotion possible. So once that is addressed through these remedies, you don't need to add more remedies. And then there were many other remedies and sets of remedies that were discovered. You know, there's, I think, the bush flower remedies, and which other, Mr. Californian. Yeah, so there are all sorts of remedies that are discovered over time, and people gave them their names. But Bach Flower remedies or Bach Flower essences still remain to be the original and the main source of flower remedies that are used to heal emotions. So a lot of the times what happens is, when a client comes to me, they come to me, oh, you know, sar mein bahut dard ho raha hai, headache ja nahi raha, aap kuch bana ke de do. Okay. So the first thing that I would tell a client is that, you know, although you've come to me with a physical symptom, I'm going to look at your emotions, because Bach Flower remedies only heal emotions. And once the emotions are healed, once they are balanced, once you are in a balance of emotions, the physical healing happens. But the physical healing here is a byproduct of your emotions healing. Okay, you are having anxiety attacks, palpitation हो रहा है, इससे धक धक जोर से होता है, BP shot up हो जाता है. I recently had a client, you know, she must be around 65, 70 years old, and a very sweet, lovely woman, and her son brings her to me and says, मेरी मम्मी को BP बहुत high रहता है, आप कुछ करो. And we sat in a session, and upon exploring, I realized why her BP is high. So the moment we would start talking about her husband, she'd be like, I don't like him, I hate him, and she starts palpitating. You can clearly see even in physically that, you know, her BP is on a rise. The moment we stop talking about her husband, we're talking about flowers, we're talking about grandchildren, we're talking about all sorts of different things. But her husband, her BP starts to normalize. So clearly, the woman has no medical proof of why her BP is escalated. It is all here, no? So I gave her a bottle of remedies, and just yesterday I talked to him, and he said, I don't know what magic happened, but her BP is normal. Okay, so I did not treat the BP. I treated the emotions that were behind the BP. So in Bach Flower Therapy, one thing that you might find maybe frustrating, maybe good, is that we will always ask you, how are you feeling today? What are your emotions like today? How can I help you today? In the here, in the now. Yeah. So Dr. Bach made it really easy for us to learn these remedies. And of course, with the Bach Flower courses that have come to India through Aarti and I, it has become even more easy to learn it from the original source. And I have some of my Bach students here as well. That's Almas, that is Mr. Iyer. Thank you for coming. And he divided the remedies into 7 groups, 7 major groups of emotions. So he started out, there's uncertainty. Maybe I'm not feeling very certain about certain things. Okay. Oversensitivity. You're a very sensitive person. Fear. You're a fearful person. Sometimes you know the fear, sometimes you don't know the fear. You have phobias. That group. There is overcare and concern, the welfare of others. You are constantly reaching out to other people because you care so much for them. And the underlying emotions with that. Okay. He talked about the remedies for loneliness, insufficient interest in the present circumstances. You know, a lot of the people, they never want to talk about the here and now. They will either talk about the past, कि उस साल में जब मेरे साथ ये इवेंट हुआ तब से मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन भाई साहब अभी क्या हो रहा है आपको? नहीं नहीं नहीं, अभी का बात मत करो, मेरे को पहले वो क्योर करना है. In Bach Flower Therapy, what we do is known as the onion peeling method. So if you were to think of your emotions as an onion, if I have to get to the core of the onion, where do I have to start? The outside. So I have to peel this layer first, right? This layer goes first, and then this layer, and then this, and then this, and I'll come to the core, right? That is how Bach Flower Therapy works. So we first start with the here and the now, and then we dig in, and we dig in, and we dig in, and we dig in. So the process sometimes is a little bit longer, but it is so much more safer than other methods that are being used. And I would never say that do not take any medicine. I myself take certain medicines that I'm required to take. But alongside medicines, I also take my Bach Flower remedies. And you will always see me with a bottle of rescue. You know, my friends laugh about it, but they know that she'll be having a bottle of rescue remedy in her purse. I think we were talking about that, right, at our last meetup. So you will never see me without a bottle of rescue in my hands, or in my purse rather. Why? Because you never know who needs to be rescued. And that is something which is very typical of a Bach Flower therapist. We will usually carry a bottle of rescue because we're always helping people out everywhere. So what is rescue remedy and the story behind it? And this is the only remedy which is a premix. Now there are a lot of people that I have seen, especially in India, who are using premixes. weight loss का premix, anxiety का premix, हर एक चीज़ का एक premix रहता है. That's not the way you practice Bach Flower remedy, because if we go back to the beginning of our class, of our talk, I told you that we see the person as whole and complete in the here and in the now. So You could be having anxiety, perhaps because you have the fear of walking on the street. You could be having anxiety, but you don't even know why you have it. Now, for you, I have a different remedy in my head, which would be mimulus. And for you, I have a completely different remedy in my head. So it always depends from person to person, what combination of remedies do I need to make for them. So I can never go back to a premix and say this is what will work. But rescue why it works and the story behind it. So one of the times, like Dr. Bach, he lived close by to the sea, and he was walking on the street and he saw two fishermen who, got hit by the high tide and they had fainted. And he had some of the remedies in his pocket, and he quickly made up a mix of 5 different remedies. He put them on their lips because they of course couldn't swallow. And this is one good thing, you can just like put it on your skin, on the pulse points, etc. Or you can spray the remedies on you and they'll still work. So he just put a few drops, about 4 drops on their lips, and one of the fishermen woke up after like a couple of minutes and asked for a cigarette. So he said, hey, this is a potent mix, and he called it a rescue remedy because he rescued the fisherman. That's how the mix came into being. Now it is known as the crisis mix, but if you are a person who knows a little bit about Bach Flower Therapy or remedies, then you would know this as the rescue remedy. And then there is a 6th one that you add into the rescue remedy, which is known as the rescue night. So this has 5 remedies, that has 6. So this has impatience, it has clematis, it has rock rose, it has, what else do it have? Come on, batch people.
Cherry plum.
Cherry plum. And the 5th one? Sob. Star of Bethlehem. We say sob for the short form. It's Star of Bethlehem. And then the 6th remedy is the white chestnut. And that it helps you sleep better. I have treated insomnia, I think, of 1 million people just by using rescue night for them. And just for them, taking it only one time, like a mixing bottle. And I'll show you what a mixing bottle looks like. It's just a bigger version of this. This is what a mixing bottle looks like. And there was this, family friend of ours, and he came to me and he said, I have insomnia. And he was taking pills after pills after pills constantly, and the insomnia wasn't curing. And I was fairly new with Bach Flower Therapy, but he was one of my first cases of insomnia, so I remember him so well, and he's a dear family friend. And I said, okay, uncle, you're going to take this, and you're going to take this 4 times a day. 4 drops, 4 times a day. That's the normal dosage that we have in Bach Flower Therapy. So he started to take it. 1 week later, he calls me up. He's like, I slept the whole night. And I was like, oh, great. So how do you feel? Because he's like, well, okay, I'm going to drink. I'm a drinker. I drink every weekend. I said, guess what? Mix this in your drink and have it. So he was even more happy. Now, this is a good part. You don't have to have any food or beverage restrictions with Bach Flower remedies. If you're a person who does not consume alcohol, the alcohol in Bach Flower remedies is minimalistic. If you're still like, because of religious constraints or whatever, then just add the remedy to a hot liquid. The alcohol evaporates and the remedy stays. So it can be taken. You still don't want to take it, spray it all over you, put it on your pulse points, right? So taking it is very, very, very simple. Now, what does a remedy bottle of Bach Flower remedies have? It has your remedy mix. We don't make more than 7 remedies into a mixing bottle. 7 is the maximum. Lesser is better. That's what we believe. So I've known of people who have put all 38 into one bottle and they are taking it. Why? Because everything applies to me. Well, yeah, everything applies to you because all of us go through all sorts of emotions all the time. But there will be specific remedies that will be applicable to you in that moment. So that is something we are experts with. That's why you would want to go to a Bach Flower therapist rather than having all the 38 remedies and wondering which is working and which is not. You can't be overdosing with them. You can't be oversaturating them. But there is a limit ना. Like अगर सोचो आप डॉक्टर के पास गए, आपको फीवर है, उसने अजीथ्रोमाइसिन दे दिया, एरिथ्रोमाइसिन दे दिया, डोलो भी दे दिया, क्रोसिन भी दे दिया, सारे आप ले रहे हो. You don't know which one is working. मल्टीविटामिन भी डाल दिया, पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि कौन सा काम कर रहा है, कौन सा नहीं काम कर रहा है. अच्छा, डॉक्टर के मेडिसिन में तो there will be a problem if you overdose. Bach Flower Remedies, luckily you overdose, no problem. You underdose, problem, it might not work. So the worst that happens is that nothing happens. That's the worst case scenario. But with our combinations, we've really not seen that nothing happens. Usually something happens. And we give it about 2 to 3 weeks for the remedies to really take their course and for you to start seeing those changes happening in your life, in your demeanor. I have a very regular client and she comes to me. She suffers anxiety attacks and feels very depressed, thinks that the world is going to come to an end. Lovely girl, and it's been over a year that I've been treating her. And the frequency of her anxiety attacks has reduced to a minimum. Does she get them still? Yeah. She has the remedies, she still gets them, but it's not as frequent. So the extremity of her case has reduced to, you know, the minimum, the bare minimum. And yeah, as we keep working on it, it will start to slowly fade away. And she takes homeopathy along with this completely fine. So Bach Flower Remedies are complementary, never supplementary. So if a Bach Flower therapist tells you, stop all your medicines and take only Bach Flower Remedies, don't go to that person again. I would really question them, okay? Do not do that. It's very dangerous to do that. We don't recommend it. We treat this as a complementary medicine, not a supplementary medicine, always. How is it taken? This one, we have a glass dropper. It has, we fill it up with filtered or spring water, mineral water, distillery, up till here approximately, and then 2 drops of each of these remedies, whatever that your mix is. So like, let's say you have cherry plum and you have agrimony, you have centauri, you have chicory, and you have hornbeam, for example. So 2 drops of those would be added to the water. It's just shaken up a little bit and handed over to you. You take 4 drops 4 times a day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, 2 doses in between. You can overdose on them, but you cannot underdose on them. Never ever go less than what is recommended. You can go more if you like to. So this client of mine that I was talking about, the girl, she sees me every 15 days because she likes to overdose on her remedies. Most of my other clients, I see them every 21 days. So that is another good part. You don't have to see me very often. And your therapy still continues because my little miracle bottle is at work. I always call this my set of miracles in a box because I don't know what miracles they can create. I have no idea. My clients tell me that. So yeah, I have a few quotes from Dr. Bach that I'd like to share, and this is one of my favorite ones, one of the most used ones, if I may say. And it says the reason for the failure of the modern medical science is that it is dealing with the results and not the causes, right? So you have fever, I need your fever to drop. I don't bloody care how you are feeling. No doctor, no medical doctor, with all due respect to medical profession, is ever going to ask you how you are feeling. And if your doctor asks you, how are you feeling? Never leave him or her. Because then that person knows what they are doing, you know. And I have, you know, my endocrinologist, he asked me one of the times, he said, what do you do, Sharmee? And I said, you know, I'm a coach and I practice angel therapy, I'm into Bach Flower therapy, a whole lot, and I represent the Patch Center. And he's like, oh my gosh, I take Rescue Remedy every time I go up for a speech. Now I was just like, holy crap, you know, because a thorough medical professional, he is only medicine and he's taking Bach Flower Remedies because his wife practices it and she started giving it to him, and he keeps asking me. So he's like, so Sharmee, what should I take for this? What should I take for that? So he'll keep asking, you know, during my appointment with him. So it becomes a batch and my doctor's appointment mix. But it's great. It's great. I had a spine surgery in December, and like I said, I don't go anywhere without my Rescue Remedy. And I was taking Rescue with walnut, and walnut is a remedy of transition, helps you transition better. So I had my premix, and I would always tell the nurse, you know, इसमें ना 4 drop आप मेरे drinking water bottle में डाल देना. तो thank you very much, because I couldn't move. I had a spine surgery, and like 2 days after my surgery, you know, every time I have a different nurse visiting, I'm like, you know, of all the patients on this floor, you are the calmest, most positive one, and you always have a smile on your face while you are the one who is in maximum pain, because my surgery went a little bit cuckoo, and then I had to go into the OT again, and so they were thinking I'm going to scream in pain, I'm going to cry, but I was quite the opposite. I was very calm. And they were like, what do you do and what is this? So I told them about Bach Flower Therapy and how I practice it, and you know that this is my mix. And so then, you know, after every shift, you know, the nurse is coming, ma'am, can I please put 4 bottles in my drinking water? And they all started drinking Bach Flower Remedies. But it was a fun experience, and it was so amazing to see that, you know, a hospital like Wockhardt. This is going on at Wockhardt Hospital, and the whole floor is on Bach Flower Remedies. Like, ma'am, आप चले जाओगे तो हमारा क्या होगा? Because they are having such a stressful day, you know. So they're like coming, talking to me. I'm like consulting them, asking them, how are you feeling? How are your emotions? And they're like, here, take some, take some. And so they are like so happy, and they feel so balanced, and they're more than happy to help me out, because you know I'm helping them out with the batch. So you can make great friends with Bach Flower Remedies. I have 2 of them here. So, okay, so continuing on to that quote, it says, nothing more than the patching up of those attacked and the burying of those who are slain, without a thought being given to the real stronghold. So if you have, say, blood pressure, that's a lifestyle disease. Why are you having the blood pressure? What is the reason that the blood pressure is existing? That reason is never addressed. It's pushed under the blanket constantly. So we address that part of you, of the whole you, and that's how we start your treatment. So that's one of my favorite quotes of Dr. Bach. It says, every single person has a life to live, a work to do, a glorious personality, and a wonderful individuality. So if you can gauge from his quotes, he truly believed that every person is whole and complete in who they are and who they be. And if you can just bring the person back to who they really are through these remedies, which are all natural, no biochemical ingredients, then why not? Why not make the world a better place one by one with the help of Bach Flower Remedies? So yeah, that's all that I had to share about Bach flowers, and I'm happy to welcome questions. Yes.
I'm taking medicine in the night.
Uh-huh.
So if I start this therapy, how much time does it should be?
You could take it along with your medicines. Yeah. You can take it right with your medicine dose, no problem at all. There doesn't need to be a gap. You can have your tea or coffee. If you like having your wine or your whiskey or your beer, have that, no problem. a lot of the times, so you know, a lot of my clients know that auntie who came to me with the blood pressure problem, her husband, he's a very difficult person in what she was telling me. And normally I would like to see a person and do a consultation and all of that, but then there are people who come to us and they'll say that हमको उनको बताना नहीं है लेकिन आप कुछ दे दो. Yeah, we're shooting arrows in the dark, but something is better than nothing. Some treatment is better than no treatment. So did it help her husband be a better person? I'm not quite sure, because she said कि हमको तो इतना कोई फर्क नहीं लगा. And I had told them that because I haven't met him and I don't know exactly what's going on with him, like in his mind, how is he feeling, not how you are perceiving him. Because my perception of you could be completely different than what you feel about yourself. And then that completely changes the combination of remedies, you know. So when you cannot see a person and you're still giving the remedies, they might not work. If they do, great. For some of them it has worked. My other client, she takes medicines for her sister, the remedies, and she says, my sister, you know, she used to slap me every other day, now she doesn't. So it's probably helped her. But then she's been giving it to her for the past 6 months and very quietly just in her water. So you can do that without the person knowing, but it's always better to inform the person, to educate the person, and then give the remedies. That's what we believe in. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, so my dad, he has a pre-dementia condition. Now, at least his comprehension is enough for me to tell him that I'm making you this mix, and you know, this is how it's going to help you. And luckily it has helped delay the dementia. It has definitely helped. So his dementia should have already had an onset, but it's not. He's still in the minor cognitive impairment category because he took Vascular Remedies for some time. But if it's a typical dementia patient, you can't possibly make them understand. Or if it's kids or animals or somebody who has, say, schizophrenia, like a severe case of schizophrenia, they may not understand, and then a caretaker can help you figure out the remedies. And once you start giving the combination, I have seen that it works to a very, very, very great extent. I had a girl who came to me, and she had a borderline personality disorder and a borderline histrionic personality disorder mixed. And she came to me for about 6 months, and it helped normalize the problem for her. 6-7 months maybe. And she was aware what she was taking. But then I have like another patient who is like an Alzheimer's patient, and like her doctor is my client. So she takes it for the mother and she gives it to her. The only thing that she has told me so far is that there is no deterioration from the point that the remedy started. That's all that we can tell. Because sometimes you have to shoot arrows in the dark, and like I said, some treatment is better than no treatment. Yeah. Question? No.
My father-in-law also had dementia, but
he used to vascular. Ah, okay. Yes. Alright, no more questions? Okay. Thank you so much everyone for coming in. And it is